Today we're diving into one of the most incredible tech stories happening anywhere on the planet, India's 5G revolution. It's an amazing story about speed, massive scale, and a seriously bold vision for the future. So let's jump right in.
Okay, to really get a sense of the scale we're talking about, just look at this number. Over 500,000 5G base stations. That's what's been installed across India in what feels like the blink of an eye. This isn't just some minor upgrade. It's genuinely one of the fastest and biggest 5G deployments the world has ever seen.
So the big question is, how on earth did they pull this off? What were the key decisions, the policies, and the big technological bets that turned this massive ambition into a nationwide reality? Well, we're going to break it all down.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the core technology choices they made. Then we'll look at the government policies that really paved the way. After that, we'll see the real-world impact on industries, look at the challenges that are still out there, and finally, we'll peek into the future with India's next big goal, the 6G mission.
First up, the tech itself. Because right from day one, India's major telecom players made some fundamentally different choices, and those choices have shaped this entire story.
So what's fascinating here is this split in strategy. On one side, you have Jio, who went all in on what's called standalone, or SA architecture. This means they built a brand new 5G core network from scratch. It's a bigger, riskier bet, but it's built for the long term. Then you have Airtel, who chose non-standalone, or NSA. This was a clever way to use their existing 4G infrastructure as a launchpad for 5G, which let them roll it out super fast. Two very different paths to the same goal.
So, why would you go through all the trouble of building a new network from the ground up? Well, a huge reason is this feature called network slicing. Think of the entire mobile network like a giant multi-lane highway. Network slicing lets you create dedicated, private, VIP lanes for really critical tasks. You could have one lane just for a surgeon performing remote surgery, another for the robots in a smart factory, and the rest for all of us. And none of them slow each other down. It's a total game changer, and it's something you can only get with a true standalone 5G network.
And this is where the story gets really interesting: self-reliance. For years, India depended on foreign companies for its telecom gear. But with 5G, a homegrown Swadeshi tech stack was developed by a team of Indian companies. The cool part? It's software-driven, so you can upgrade from 4G to 5G with a software update. No need to swap out expensive hardware. And get this, they developed it in about 22 months, a process that took the rest of the world decades.
All right, so a tech leap like this doesn't just happen on its own, right? It needed a massive, coordinated policy push from the government to clear all the roadblocks.
And you can really see the step-by-step strategy here. It kicked off with a vision back in 2018, then the super important spectrum auction in 2022, then they completely modernized the telecom law, replacing an act from the 1800s. And maybe most importantly, they streamlined the right-of-way rules, which cut through all the red tape that used to make installing towers and fiber take forever. And behind these big moves were four crucial pillars propping everything up. You had the PLI scheme, which is basically a huge financial incentive to get companies to manufacture telecom equipment right there in India. A trusted source mandate was put in place for network security. The Gati Shakti portal made getting permits and clearances way faster. And the digital Bharat Nidhi set aside funds for rural networks and for research into the next big thing, like 6G.
So we've got the tech and we've got the policy. But what does this all actually look like in the real world? Let's check out the impact it's already having.
This is just incredible. In healthcare, 5G is literally a lifesaver. Apollo Hospitals has a 5G-connected ambulance that can send high-definition patient data, vitals, scans, you name it, directly to the ER while it's stuck in traffic. So doctors can see what's happening and give instructions, essentially bringing the ICU right to the patient before they even reach the hospital.
And it's not just healthcare. In the industrial world, things are changing fast. A refinery in Numaligarh set up its own private 5G network. This lets them monitor every single piece of equipment in real time. They can even run digital twin simulations to predict problems before they happen, which is huge for both safety and efficiency.
Even farming, the absolute backbone of India's economy, is getting a massive high-tech upgrade. With 5G, drones can fly over huge farms and spot problems like pest infestations instantly. At the same time, tiny sensors in the ground can tell a smart irrigation system exactly when and where to water, saving a ton of resources.
So when you add up all of these transformations happening in every single sector, the numbers just get staggering. The overall economic impact of 5G is projected to add about $450 billion to India's GDP by 2040.
The big takeaway here is this isn't just about faster movie downloads. It's a fundamental engine for economic growth.
Okay, but let's be real. A project this huge is never going to be perfectly smooth. It's really important to look at the actual challenges that India is facing in making 5G a reality for everyone.
And this right here, this is probably the single biggest hurdle they face, what's called the usage gap. So while the mobile internet network covers pretty much everyone, almost half the people with coverage don't actually use it. The big reasons? Well, 5G phones are still too expensive for many, and there's still a need for more digital literacy. The network is there, but for a lot of people, the bridge to get onto it is still being built. And it doesn't stop there. You've got the financial strain. Companies have poured in a mind-boggling 4.5 lakh crore rupees. But what they earn from each user is still pretty low. Then there's the infrastructure side. Not enough cell towers are actually connected with high-speed fiber optic cables. And looking down the road, there's a big debate brewing over the 6 GHz spectrum band, which is going to be absolutely essential for future 5G capacity.
There are technical hurdles too. A new technology called Open RAN was supposed to make things cheaper by letting operators mix and match equipment from different vendors, but it's hitting some bumps. As one research study puts it, it has faced a reality check in India because operators are worried it might not perform well enough in really crowded cities.
And that brings us to our final section. Because even as India is tackling all these 5G challenges, it's already looking way ahead, trying to make the leap from just being a technology adopter to a global technology creator.
And this isn't just some vague dream. There's a very clear, structured plan called the Bharat 6G mission. It started with a formal vision document, then they formed an alliance to get everyone, industry, academics, the government, all working together. Now they're funding labs and research to build the whole ecosystem from the ground up, with the crystal clear goal of making India a leader in 6G by 2030.
And get this, the ambition is super specific. The mission's stated goal is for India to own 10% of all global patents related to 6G technology. That's a massive statement. It means this isn't just about using 6G, it's about inventing it.
This quote really sums up the entire story, this fundamental shift in mindset. The whole journey through 4G and 5G, especially with building their own homegrown tech, has laid the groundwork for India to go from simply buying global technology to actually creating it and helping set the standards for the rest of the world.
So we'll end on this question. India's 5G story is this powerful blueprint for how to do a massive rollout at incredible speed, all driven by smart policy and bold tech choices. The question now is whether this model, this combination of speed, scale, and sovereign capability, can actually influence how the rest of the world builds its own digital future.